Hey folks, I'm Dieter Melhorn. What does it take to catch a world record flathead catfish? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the current world record flathead catfish, and I'm going to let you know what your chances are of beating that record. State record catfish are rare. At best, new state records come around every 10 years or so, while some of them have been in place for decades. A good example of that is the South Carolina state record for a channel catfish. Not only is it the state record, but it's also the world record at 58 pounds, and that record has been in place for almost 70 years. Now, world record catfish, they're even harder to break. With so few catfish species out there and so much pressure put on our modern day fisheries, some of those records will never be broken. One of those catfishing records that will likely never be broken is the world record for a flathead catfish. That record has been in place since 1998 and no fish has even come close. Flathead catfish over 100 pounds are extremely rare, and only a handful have actually been documented on certified scales. They are so rare that only one state has a flathead catfish that is over 100 pounds. Kentucky, Louisiana, and Texas are close, but even those fish are in the 90s. While many fishermen go out fishing with dreams of breaking the world record for a flathead catfish, most serious flathead anglers realize that this record will likely never be broken. At a recent catfish conference, the Catfishing Industry Trade Show, I spoke with some anglers about their thoughts on the current world record catfish and whether or not that record will ever be broken. Legendary catfish angler Steve Douglas believes that we just may not be doing the right thing to put these world-class flatheads in the boat.
I'd say there's fish out there. We just need to maybe target them a little differently. Like I say, how many people's fishing with a 15-pound any kind of carp or anything to make that 100-pounder get enticed? I mean, you know, a 100-pounder, what size face is he going to have? He's going to have a mouth that big. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. He's swimming out there. Got to target him a little bit better, I think.
Now, Luke Nichols from Catfish Carp here on YouTube wasn't very optimistic about seeing a new world record flathead catfish anytime soon.
The introduction of blue catfish has hurt a lot of flatheads. You know, there's a lot of places where flatheads are traditionally top dog, and now we've introduced blue catfish in the last 4 or 5 decades, and that's going to hurt. And I think that's the same reason why you don't see many channel catfish records being even close to being touched. Virginia is a great example. You know, we have channel catfish used to be the native species. Both blue and flatheads were introduced, and it's really hurt the channel catfish. And I think the flathead are maybe experiencing a little bit the same, but that's very location specific. There's plenty of bodies of water where there are no blues, and flatheads you could get 100-pound flatheads all the time. Who knows?
Tournament winning angler Chris Souders believes that a new world record flathead catfish may be hard to find.
I would say you're probably at the top. You know, not saying that there's not one out there somewhere, but getting hooked up with that fish, being able to, you know, do everything right to get that fish on the bank or in the boat, I'd say you're at the top of the game. And if there was somewhere to come from, I would say lake. As you know, they don't get pressured as hard. Most lake, you know, no river involved. Lake flatheads, they eat when they want. They don't have to fight current, and they don't get targeted as much.
As for the current world record flathead catfish, well, Ken Paulie is the man credited with catching that fish over 20 years ago. It stood the test of time at 123 pounds. Now, Paulie caught this fish while crappie fishing on Elk City Reservoir on May 15, 1998. Now, the International Game Fish Association, also known as the IGFA, lists the fish as being caught on 16-pound line. Some of the people in the area who knew Paulie to be an accomplished crappie fisherman suggest that he never would have used 16-pound line while crappie fishing. Some of the other rumors are that the fish was actually flailing on top of the water and he snagged it with a crappie jig and brought it in and landed it and weighed it in. Now, none of those rumors were substantiated, and the fish stands as the current state and world record. As with any big fish, there's a lot of people out there who become a little envious and will say some things that aren't exactly true. Now, here's the crazy part that you may find hard to believe. This fish remained frozen in a freezer for over a decade, until in 2016, biologists from Kansas Wildlife thawed it out, examined it, and gathered some data on it. The fish was in fact 22 years old. It was a male, and it had recently eaten a buffalo carp. Now, due to the overwhelming size of this flathead catfish, this record will likely never be broken. What do you think? Is a bigger fish out there? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, we can all dream about catching it the next time we go fishing. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're gonna like.